Hey, what's up, Silver Stackers? Thanks for being here. This is Silver Slayer. I put together a great video for you guys and gals today. We're talking about this announcement that Joe Biden mentioned when he got elected, talking about the new Green Deal, this green revolution where the entire world goes solar. Every automobile company by the year 2030 is going to be electric, zero net emissions by the year 2040. Now, that requires a boatload of silver, and we already know that silver has extreme supply deficits already. So, over the next decade, where is this silver going to come from to make all these solar panels and 5G towers and electric vehicles? Well, that's a question I don't think they have the answer to yet. So, I'm glad that this is the article we're going to be covering. I'm glad that a lot of these articles are starting to publicly mention the bullish side of silver. You know, Bank of America says $50 silver from the green stimulus. Biden's green reset would be great for silver. This is when green and silver just might be the new black and gold, and it goes into why. We have another one, new administration's green dream is bullish for silver. So, there is a lot of notoriety, but I don't think a lot of these articles understand that it would be great for silver, but we don't have enough silver for that dream to really fulfill itself. But this article does explain that. So before we jump into this, make sure you go enter my silver giveaway. I am giving away some silver in celebration of 55K. You don't want to miss it. And if you don't enter now, you're probably going to miss it. I'll be announcing the winner soon. I also give an ounce of silver away once a month to someone who stands out to me. If you're someone leaving great comments and just being very friendly and just very just stands out, I'm gonna reward you for that. That's a way for me to give back to the people that really do bring positivity to this channel. So here we go. This is gonna be a good article. Links in the description. So Metals Focus reported today that silver will play a crucial role in a burgeoning economy or a green economy that is rising demand, which has already put silver markets into a physical deficit already, which has a strong likelihood of becoming structural. According to a report, the star of silver use in the green economy over the last decade has been photovoltaics, which are PV cells, which are used in solar panels, by the way. With PV installations have grown massively over the last decade, up from a modest 16 gigawatts in 2010 to 158 in 2021. And imagine what it's going to be by the year 2030. The consultancy said that much of its growth has been driven by the push to reduce CO2 emissions, and that despite a major cut in the amount of silver used on each cell, silver demand increased substantially between 2010 and 2021. And they actually just mentioned something really important. There's about 58 grams in an electric vehicle of silver, and they're trying to cut it down to around 23. Now, some could probably put the argument up of, we might have enough silver once we're more efficient with it, learning how to use less and less of it. Because, given some of that is extremely true, last year scientists found a way to make silver 40% stronger without losing any of its electrical conductivity. But regardless, I don't think that's enough. Then someone could put the argument out of, well, what if we just start recycling more silver? Which, yes, I could see that happening, but to the extent that we're talking about, I don't think is possible. Demand already exceeded 1.12 billion ounces this year. Imagine what the demand would be like in 10 years, and we're only pushing out roughly 900 million ounces. So, and that's if that's even realistic, if that number's real. But anyways, let's keep moving on. We estimate that a typical cell in 2021 would only have contained around 20% of the silver used in 2010. Despite that thrifting and substitution, we estimate that silver in PVs has risen from around 5% of total silver demand in 2010 to over 10% in 2021. And by the way, like 5G towers and windmills, these things don't last very long, especially windmills. We don't really know 5G towers and all that yet because it's not too much data, but as we advance digitally and technologically, there's going to be more and more uses for silver, even, sucking up more of that demand. So the consultancy noted it initially expected that this would translate into slight growth in silver use in 2022, but recent forecasts suggesting much higher PV installations, perhaps as much as 200 gigawatts. And this is just talking about photovoltaics. We're not talking about electric vehicles or any of that stuff either. So if this were to occur, Metals Focus said that photovoltaics, silver demand in 2022 would rise by well over 10%. Thereafter, however, end use could plateau as ongoing thrift encounters still high installation figures, plus the bonus from a replacement of end of life cells. So while silver demand in photovoltaics might start to plateau, the opposite is true for silver use in the automotive industry. The authors of the report continued, and much of this demand growth will stem from the recovery in vehicle production as the chip crisis eases, but total silver use is forecast to rise at a much stronger pace than mere vehicle numbers. Some of this is due to the factors unconnected to the green economy, such as the growing adoption of complex infotainment systems or new relatively equipment such as reversing cameras and lane departure warning sensors. However, battery electric vehicles or BEVs require much greater amounts of silver than do internal combustion engines or ICE vehicles. These areas include 2 electrodes per battery. I mean, there could be thousands, I'm not going to go into all that, but importantly, Metals Focus said that its current estimates point to silver's use in photovoltaics being roughly twice the size of automotive, and that bonus generated by vehicles being BEVs accounted for around 10% of the automotive uses. Now, remember, I also mentioned by the year 2030, every automobile company is going to be an electric vehicle company. I think Volvo was the newest I've seen come out. But every day you hear about a new company that's going completely electric, and that's going to be the day and age we live in pretty soon. My daughter's 2, her first car is going to be electric. By then, electric vehicles are going to be the norm, and gas powered's kind of slowly fade out. Which also means they're going to be a lot cheaper. So if you want that Lambo, wait about a decade, But anyways, it's important to note that Metals Focus estimates for silver's use in PV only account for silver in the cell and in the automotive for silver in a vehicle. However, that is not the totality of their silver needs. For instance, some silver is used in BEVs charging facilities and some in PVs connections and switches. Moreover, otherwise renewable energy sources such as wind and tidal power also use silver in various areas, as does the low carbon nuclear power industry. I mean, there's so much more than just this. I mean, they didn't even really talk about everything else. I mean, you got colloidal silver, you got that's in the medical field. It's used in medical wall paint. It's used for dental alloys. It's literally used in everything, but you also have silver lithium ion batteries, the 5G towers. It's used in everything and anything. I mean, it has antimicrobial properties, so it can purify water. I'm not going to go into all that, but regardless, the point is that we already need much more silver than we really have. And I don't really think, and I know this actually, that companies, especially the markets, don't understand that yet, or I guess aren't acknowledging it yet. But when it becomes oblivious, I mean, when it's blatantly obvious that there is a huge supply deficit and we're running into a major problem, which I think will be around the year 2026, 2027, I think that's when silver's true price will start to shine. So anyways, moreover, other renewable energy sources such as wind, tidal power also use silver, okay? So according to a report, all such uses are small, however, and combined, these might be equivalent to around 10% of photovoltaic demand. In conclusion, Metals Focus said that uniquely for the 4 main precious metals, silver saw a deficit last year and is forecast to remain in a deficit this year. While the switch from a surplus in 2020 was far from solely driven by the green economy, silver would have been in a surplus in both 2021 and 22 without this. So the fact that green demand is forecast to grow strongly in the next few years only adds to the trend in other supply and demand segments. As a result, Metals Focus expects that silver deficit is to grow in the coming years. And I can't imagine by the next 10 years what the supply deficit's going to be. I mean, the silver shortage might be a myth to some of you guys, but I've been covering this for about a year and a half now, and with all the information I've dug up, I mean, it's obvious to me at least. But anyways, yeah, I thought this was a great article to bring to light, especially since we have Kitco also mentioning this. I covered another article. I forget who talked about it. It might have been Keith Newmar. I know he did an interview with Michelle McCory, where he mentioned this same type of thing, where it's not possible. But I remember this other interview I covered. It might have been, no, it wasn't Keith. It wasn't Ted Butler. I forget who it was, but the guy, and this is when it really slapped me in the face, the seriousness of it. He goes, um, for anyone who really thinks we can make the entire world go green, they are daydreamers. They are living in this fantasy land because there's no possible way we have that much silver. He said there's not a chance. That's living in fantasy land. And when I read that, it really did hit me because before I was like, but when you really start to look at the numbers and really start to look at how much silver we're going to need in the next 10 years and look at, what the production is coming out of the ground, yada yada, it just doesn't make sense. And I just people don't see that yet. But yeah, anyways, I'm gonna wrap this video up here. The link will be in the description. Thanks for tuning in. Go enter my giveaway if you want a chance to win some silver. I post daily videos. Like this video too. If you've stuck around this long into the video, thank you so much. A lot of people probably clicked off within 2 minutes thinking that they know it all, but they don't. And you are someone who's probably going to be a lot more successful since you're soaking in all this information. You're being humble, you're being open-minded, you're not thinking, "Oh, I know everything." I don't, that's very important as an investor, so pat yourself on the back. Anyways, yeah, thanks for tuning in. This is Silver Slayer. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.